these enormous fangs. You just have a feeling like you would never, ever, ever want to be on the wrong side of that animal. Just to get animals to act, you know, to get those dogs to be as ferocious as they were, to baboons to react in that sort of mortal terror that they seem to have, and then this complete primal outrage, they just had to get at this thing and tear it apart. That's the mark of a director who thinks big and then can pull it off, and it's very, very rare. Donner's one of the few directors I know that can do that. He keeps it extremely human. It's all built around a very intimate emotional core of your central characters, but the palette and the canvas is really big.
The son of the devil. He will kill the unborn child. Then he will kill your wife. And when he is certain to inherit all that is yours, then, Mr. Thorne, he will kill you.
That's enough.
You definitely, in these films, have the sense that there's kind of normal civilian life, and then there's the war. And we never see it, but the priests know about it, and they're fighting it all the time, and that is the war between good and evil, and it's real, and there are physical ramifications of it, and they're kind of got their hands pressed to the door that's bulging, and at any moment, pure evil's going to break in and just take us all over. I think from time to time it's easy to believe that that's going on historically, but also I just believe one of our most ancient premonitions is that the darkness is going to get us, and what's in the darkness is going to get us. All of us always feel somewhere in our minds that there's something out there that is not bright and does not have our best interest in mind. And at any moment, if somebody lets their guard down, it's going to be in the room with us, and we're going to be obliterated. And that's scary, you know, and the Omen captured that sense. The impaling of the priest, I've heard, was a fluke luck of having an entire storm move through the set in a way that was incredibly dramatic. But that impalement and everything leading up to it, with the photographs and everything else, I thought was wonderful. And the audience, by that time, was just completely frozen in dread.
Mrs. Burlock!
Anything wrong?
I just can't stand that noise.
It's not all that bad.
If you look at her from the aspect of a mother who actually has lost her child already and would never be feeling that sort of cellular contact with this child, because even though she doesn't know it, it's not her child. Some part of her body knows.
Would you take him out of here, please?
Well, he's only playing.
Would you just get him out of here, please?
And if she's been lied to, then she's in conflict, because am I just cold to this child? Is there something wrong with me? Or is it that child, because I don't feel anything towards it, you know? And that's kind of a delicious quandary for her to be in. It's one of the interesting things of the structure of the film is that the father has lied. I love stuff like that. I mean, it's all over my movies too, of somebody who has a terrible secret, and because they feel guilty about it, they don't convey some vitally important information. To think of something evil inside of your own child puts you in such a primally horrible position. Totally believable that they deny it for half the picture and just can't believe that anything like that is possible. A child on a bicycle it's great because it's like he's on this little mechanical child thing just pumping away like a madman, and there's something quite demented about it. And just the fact that Donner had him winding himself up, you know, by going round and around and around a room, almost like he didn't understand what the hell he was doing. This energy was building, and then the nanny opens the door. He just goes in like a hawk missile or something and just goes right for the mother. That was all, the way it was handled was all great, because then he just kind of looks down. And when she's hanging on, he doesn't like bang on her fingers or anything. Lee Remick falling off the balcony. I mean, continuous shot, your actress, all the way down to a wood floor. I mean, how did they do that? I don't know how they did it.
Robert. Don't let him kill me. Don't let him kill me.
Peck is like I put her in this position, by lying. I think, and he kind of caught up with his wife. And that was an interesting thing to me because he kind of started as a cliche version of the man who, was in charge of everything and was totally competent. And then by degrees realizes that he is not competent to face this at all. I love that moment where they go into the priest's room and the whole room is papered with pages of the Bible. Brilliant. And all the crosses. And Warner gave a great sort of, sense of reality to that.
There are 47, I counted them. I think he was trying to keep something out, don't you?
The lay and sort of outside Christianity observer that still was frightened because he knew, somehow sensed that he was going to be done in by it if he didn't figure it out, even though he was totally agnostic. This kind of picture, horror, supernatural, is so dependent on score. It just lifts the whole thing up to a whole other level. And, Jerry Goldsmith was one of the great craftsmen because it just never let you alone. It was always just insinuating through. It's like somebody dumped open a basket of snakes in your house, just everywhere you look, there's this little musical thing going in there. The visit to the digs in Rome,
June.
where he had some weird
6th.
flute sort of sound.
5 years
Slightly
ago.
atonal, slightly off-kilter, but also very indigenous.
Bambino's Chiara.
And the mixture of voices, choral voices. People that are singing almost like they're possessed.
Oh, my God.
Darkness is a great suggester. If you don't show everything, you leave places for the person to fill in, then they bring all of their subconscious information from their own personal life that a filmmaker can never know. So it's important to put your vision in there and then leave space where people can fill in blanks, because they'll bring their own demons to it. Losing his head was one of the great all-time shots, in American horrific cinema. I mean, it was just such a clever way to kill the guy, and so spectacular, and it looked just impossible to capture on film. Everything in that shot, from the aspect of shocking the audience and showing it graphically, tastefully, but was perfect. And when she finally comes out at the end and is in this terrible fight and struggle with him, the looks on her face when she's pulling that, that fork out of her neck, and then there's still something stuck in there. It was a great performance. And so often, this kind of film will hinge on a key moment of a secondary player. And if you don't have that casting just right, everything will kind of go awry. But Donner nailed it with her. Just a moment in culture in the 70s where a lot of taboos were being broken, and that certainly was one where you just have a child that's totally evil. That just by itself is an outrageous idea because, the ending is you want him to kill a child. It all goes back to things that in some cases people weren't even into anymore, but I think because of the times, with the Vietnam War and everything else, all of us were feeling like, is this the end world? And times it just feels so insane. When films last a long time, it's because in some way or another they're extraordinary, and they are entertainments. Certainly in the case of this, it was a film that, by staying just a notch away from the extremes of The Exorcist, made itself available to a much, much broader audience. Because people were able to watch it and be scared, but not repulsed and not just sickened. And it became one of the great delicious treats to watch the end, this evil child and everything else in a way that was scary and beautiful to watch, and sometimes quite spectacular. And just a guy at the top of his form with a really, really good script and great backup, great musician behind him, great cinematographer, great costume design and production design. Just every once in a while, that confluence of the perfect movie comes together just like a perfect storm, and this is one of those cases.